All right, let's talk about If. One of those rare times we have two movies in the same year about imaginary friends. One a horror, one billed as a comedy, but definitely has more family drama bits to it. So John Krasinski is the dad. You're probably thinking, I hope John Krasinski gets time with Ryan Reynolds. He doesn't, because John Krasinski spends the majority of this film in a hospital. Yes. So during a very sad opening montage, not quite like Up opening montage, but one where you see the symbolism, you go, oh, we're in for something like this pretty early on, aren't we? So we get to see the Elizabeth, the female lead, ends up going into the big city to spend time with her grandmother because her dad, John Krasinski, is going to be having surgery, so he's in the hospital. One night, she sees this bizarre-looking girl. Seeing like, oh, it's a girl probably about my own age, living in the same building. Let me try to talk to her. That's then when she runs into Ryan Reynolds' character and learns all about the ifs. I will say the girl who's playing Elizabeth, great job when it comes to the comedic moments. Lots of like wonder and like empathy and like golly gee moments with her. And then when it's time for the like everyone in the theater is crying unless they're below the age of 10, and they're just like, where are the imaginary friends? Why is this movie so sad all of a sudden? Did a great job with that too. Tonally, this movie has got moments where it's really funny and visually impressive. Not quite the point that you have to see this in theaters. You know, they do a sequence in the retirement home with all of the ifs that is very visually stunning. You're like, oh, this is really nice. Kind of out of place in the film. There are times when I was like, at 100 minutes, lose one or two of the ifs, drop the budget down by a couple of million, decrease the time by like 5 minutes, tighten up just a little bit. But I mean, the humor and the heart were very well done. Moments where it's like heartbreakingly sad. It was like, yeah, if people brought young kids to this, and when it was done, I asked my 10-year-old, she was like, it was really sad. She's like, it's good, but it was really sad. And then I saw people with younger kids, and the kids were like, you got bored. Like, yeah, it's kind of boring. It's like, yes, this isn't like the trailer makes it a lot more comedic than it is. And the comedy's good when it's there. And it's great seeing Ryan Reynolds as sarcastic but straight man. He's not the funny guy. John Krasinski is the one who's, he's stereotypical written, dad facing a horrible tragedy, but he's going to face it with humor. I'm going to tell my wife, I have two options. I dual wield humor or guilt. Which one do you want? Very often we go with humor. Often I was like, oh, I would love for these two characters to be together. To be goofy John Krasinski character and kind of serious Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, I want to see those two on screen together, which you don't. Like I said, Krasinski's spending the majority of his time in a hospital. Lots of really great moments of heart. I have a feeling this movie probably will not do super well when it comes to theatrically, which, I mean, it came out at a weird time. But I do picture this one probably having pretty substantial legs when it comes to, the rental and, the owning physical media aspect. I haven't seen a lot of films that I'm like, I want to buy this film. Like Despicable Me, yes, it's a funny enough franchise, and there's enough continuity that they're worth owning at least digitally. Super Mario Brothers, really liked it, fun movie to watch. It is that movie's it is candy in movie form. You can watch it, it's good, it's fine. You watch every now and then, not something you do a lot because it'll ruin your appetite. But this movie was just, there's such great moments of heart and of wonder. And I love that when Elizabeth finds out something, that's when you find it out. They hint at things. And when they do the reveal, you kind of go, that makes sense. I see the direction. I understand that, they left breadcrumbs to this realization. And I was like, I like that. I haven't seen a movie in such a long time. and it's not this magically complicated thing, but having you not be omniscient and knowing everything, and then the character's like, oh, well, this happened. Being there, and the character kind of goes, and then you're like, I dig that. It's like I feel like I'm empathizing with the character. Having said that, there's moments of loss. The best way to describe this is, you remember the movie Click, where you're like, it's Adam Sandler, it's going to be goofy, it's got like fart jokes, and then they had moments where you're like, wait a minute, why are we in a drama all of a sudden? He went to Bed Bath & Beyond, got in the Beyond section, and just goofy things happened, and then it's like, and serious bit. It has those aspects to it. You know, there are moments where Louis Gossett Jr., who's Louis the Bear, gives this soliloquy where he's like, oh, well, it's really all about this. And it goes into one of the fantastical kind of dream sequences. And it's so well done. And you're just like, you know, I want to buy this movie when it comes out. I want to own this physically, so it doesn't get lost to the ravages of time and little digital. Because one, it's a very well done movie. And two, I want studios to know that these sort of movies, where the acting is well done, the voice acting is good, the special effects are very good, there's a heart to it, there's a plot, there's a flow, that these sort of movies we can do more of. Now, I have noticed that I've seen a few movies, there's a lot more, I'll say more kind of drama-focused ones. It's a little less in the way of action, more in the way of like, you know, here's an uplifting, you know, family drama. And I'm like, you know, these might not do incredibly well in a theater. And if they're made, you know, around the $10, $15 million, this one I think costs like $100 because of all special effects. You know, and if Hollywood goes back to making some of those movies where it's a good movie, it doesn't cost $300 million to make, it doesn't cost $50 million to make. You can make a movie that costs, you know, $15 million. You know, again, family dramas doesn't need a lot of special effects or anything like that. It's more normally like casting, budgeting, you know, casting, you know, clothes, art direction, all that sort of stuff. You can make these movies for like, you know, $20 million. That then make, you know, 60 or 80 by the time it's all said and done with theatrical release and digital and all that. And you can make, you know, a decent ROI, a decent percentage profit, not a huge, you know, not like, oh, I made $1 million on my $300,000. No, you can make a decent amount of money. And these movies are a lot faster to produce, and you can make good movies. This is a good movie. It's just hard to say this is a great movie to take your family to, unless, of course, you have a kid who's like around the age of 10. Then they might kind of get it. And they might like the parts that are funny. They might understand the parts that are sad. If they're really young, they're not going to get the parts that are sad. They'll like the parts that are funny. They'll be confused why the whole movie's not funny.